thing. So if you see endometriosis on the website, that's at least a good sign that they've heard of it. So the next question is, how do you get checked for it? So here's the complicated thing about endometriosis. It is very, very sneaky, and it is very hard to see. That's why I recommend going to a specialist. Now, I'm sure each doctor has different ways that they diagnose it. Actually, with me, they diagnosed it based on symptoms alone. They were like, we are so positive that you have it that we're just gonna go ahead and put it in your chart, and if you don't have it, oh wells, but if it's in your chart, then insurance is more likely to cover it. Now for the actual diagnosis, the 100% certainty. So the first thing that they had me do is get 2 ultrasounds. If that came back clear, the next step was gonna be an MRI. I had to get both an external ultrasound and an external, which I have beef. All my life, everybody was like, oh yeah, getting an external ultrasound isn't that bad because they put this warm goo on your stomach. You liars. It was not warm. It was cold. She put that on my stomach and I was like, ah! There's nothing warm about that. But anyways, yeah. Moving on. Both my ultrasounds came back clear. So then I go to the MRI and that also came back clear. And it is very common for your results to come back clear when you have endometriosis. It usually doesn't show up on imaging unless you have a very severe case. So once everything came back clear, it kind of proved to the insurance like, hey, we're not finding anything, so we have to go inside to see what it really is. So that's when I got my surgery, and in the surgery is when I got the official diagnosis. Surgery is the only way to get a proper diagnosis. Like I said, really bad cases do pop up on imaging, but you really got to get in there to see it. It's a very sneaky disorder. So the next question I got was, is endometriosis something that eventually stops, or do you have to keep dealing with it for the rest of your life? So unfortunately, endometriosis is for life. They still have not figured out what causes it, and there is also no cure. I mean, you can get the surgery, and like me, I do feel way better after the surgery, but it can always grow back. Like so far I've been good, but I've definitely heard stories from women who have had to get surgery multiple times. They get the surgery, they get it all removed, and then like 2 years later they're back on that operating table getting it removed again. And it's a very case by case scenario. That was another question I got, is if endometriosis has different symptoms for different people, and it 100% does. And it's one of those disorders that things you wouldn't even think are related to it are. Like, I've heard cases of patient had endometriosis on their lungs, and every time their period came, they had a hard time breathing. Like, it's crazy the things that it attaches to, and if you don't get the surgery, it's gonna keep growing and it's just gonna keep causing problems. So there's all kinds of symptoms it can cause. I can only really tell you about my symptoms, but yes, I would say it's a very different experience for different people. Like, for instance, endometriosis has 3 stages, but the stages don't necessarily have anything to do with how much pain you're in or how many symptoms you're feeling. There's some people who have endometriosis and have no idea because they don't get any symptoms, and then there's people like me who had it and were just in agony. So yeah, I would say the symptoms vary for sure. Now, this next question, I had 2 different people ask me this, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't know the answer. I'm gonna say it anyways, just in case there's people who are watching this that can put in the comments the answer. But I had a few people ask me if UTIs are common with endometriosis. And personally, I did not have that problem. I've only had 2 UTIs in my entire life. One of them was when I was a teenager, and one of them was right after my hysterectomy, which it's common to get a UTI after a hysterectomy. But I don't know. I feel like I have heard people say that's a thing, but I don't want to speak on it because that was not my experience, and it's not something I've looked into either. So if there's anybody watching this that has endometriosis and they're a little more familiar with this question, please answer it, because I did have people curious about it, and I just didn't know. This thing's like empty, but I'm too lazy to go grab the full bottle. Oh, it's totally empty. Darn it. But yeah, that's all the questions I got, and here's the makeup. What do you guys think? I was a little too scared to go like full yellow because it's just not a color I use very often. I usually just do a little bit of yellow and not a whole lot, so I was too afraid to go full blown, but it's still cute. Anyways, if you have any more questions about endometriosis, let me know. If you have questions about PMDD, also let me know. That's it for now, folks. Folks. How do you say that word? I never say that word. That's it for now, guys. Hi, how can I help you? Hi, so I'd like to return this shampoo. I bought it last week and I'm not gonna lie, I hate it. Oh, really? Wow, that's one of our most popular shampoos. What didn't you like about it? It just made my hair super greasy and I can't stand the smell either. Oh, weird. Okay, well, I can absolutely return that for you. Thank you. Here you go. Here's the receipt. Thank you. Okay, let me just get in the computer real quick and start the return process. Sure. Return. Oh, there it is. All right, let me just scan this real quick. Huh, this feels really light. Oh, well, I only used it once, so it's a full bottle. Anyways, can we hurry this up? I've got somewhere I gotta go. Huh, what is it? This isn't shampoo. It's been swapped out for something else. What? Are you sure? Pretty sure. Oh my God, that is so weird. No wonder it didn't work on my hair then. You guys must have sold me a bad product. Or you took this home, dumped out the shampoo, filled it with something else, and then tried to bring it back for a refund. What? Why would I do that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe so you could get a $70 shampoo for free. I can't believe this. You sold me a faulty product and now you want to accuse me of swapping it out for water? Huh. How'd you know it was filled with water? So yeah, you're not getting a refund for this. Fine. Can I at least get the bottle back? I dumped all the shampoo into a Ziploc bag and it has been a pain to shower that way. Thanks for nothing, you greedy bitch. Here's your bottle back, bitch. Here's your bottle back, bitch. So loud. It's the only empty bottle I have though, so. I almost dropped it. Somebody pointed out in one of my videos, like, the face she makes when she throws something, and I realize I do that in every time I throw something. Here, maybe I should, like, dump the water out. Also, this is based on a true story, except I didn't realize she had swapped the product until after she left, and I didn't notice at all. My boss noticed. And they were like, why is this so liquidy? And I opened it and they're like, this is, I don't think it was pure water, but like it was definitely not the shampoo. I think she like took half and then put water, I don't know. But my boss was like, you need to start checking the product before you return it. And I was like, okay, maybe. I dumped all the shampoo into a Ziploc bag and it's a pain to shampoo. Time for a sad boy update. So guess who slipped out of his cast yet again? This little rascal. And he did it in the most dramatic way ever. So just watch. I walked into the room, so he walked over to see me, and then he flipped upside down, picked it off, boom, there it goes. When that happened, I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I have a whole collection of cat casts at this point, which it's kind of weird that I still have these. I should throw these away. So yeah, I called the vet and I was like, guess what happened for the third time? And I had to drive my butt down there, but luckily they were like, he actually doesn't need a cast anymore, so we'll go cast free from this point. And I was like, thank God. And then a few days later they did x-rays just to check on how things were healing, and everything is healing great, which is good news. He's not fully out of the woods yet though, so that's why he's still in his little pen. But they do want him to start using his leg more, so they told me to let him out for, you know, short periods of time, to let him kind of walk around and stuff, but to make sure that he still isn't jumping or anything crazy like that. So we got to keep doing that for the next couple weeks. At the end of the month, he gets rechecks on the x-rays. And I'm hoping if everything's good for those next x-rays, we're done. We don't have to keep going back to the vet and he can actually start using his leg fully and stuff again. But I don't know, I know this is a long healing process. I knew that going in, but we're coming up on, you know, it's been over a month, so we're getting there. But yeah, that's it for now. Just trying to keep him out of trouble, which is hard. He's a sweet cat, but he is sneaky. He's the sneakiest cat I've ever dealt with in my life. But that's it for now. Right, sad boy? That's where you were supposed to meow. Okay, well, you're not becoming a cat influencer then. So you want to see my wigs? Okay, I actually just so happen to have one right next to me. This is the newest edition. Ooh. She's already kind of a mess. This is the expectation. This is the reality. I actually tried this on in another video not that long ago.